Welcome to English verb tenses. Hopefully, after this video, you will have a much better sense of what is used when. Let's go! Anything that marks an existence or an action is a verb. In English, we have 4 types of verb endings. For example, we have like, likes, liking, and liked. Luckily, the 12 tenses in this video and the 7 in the sequel all have these 4 endings, so if you guess one of these, 9 out of 10 times, you'll be right. If you look in a dictionary, the form you will find of a verb is called the infinitive. It's to plus the verb. To have, to go, to speak. This is the same form as I, so I have, I go, I speak. The only exception is be, which is irregular. It would be I am, you are, he is, we are, they are. You can see the 4 different forms of a lot of these verbs, and you'll notice that some of them are irregular. I've underlined the irregular ones, so watch out for them. These are your personal pronouns. They are non-droppable, which means wherever you have a verb, you must have a subject pronoun. Notice how singular nouns, such as the cat and a cat, are considered third-person singular, but multiple nouns, such as the cat and the dog, or plural nouns, like the dogs, are both third-person plural. This will be important later. Also notice that you is the same in both singular and plural. The simple present tense is used to mark something that happens in general in the present. Just use the root word unless you're working with third person singular, and then you'll add s to the end instead of the root word. There are a few exceptions to this, such as be and have, which is I am, you are, he is, and I have, you have, he has. Auxiliary verbs also have the same problem. Some of them don't change forms, such as I would, he would, I could, he could. Notice that if you want to use a second verb after the first verb, you will have to put the word to in between them, such as I like to dance.
S and ing forms are usually pretty easy to make. Most verbs fall into the first category. Just add s or ing, and there's nothing more to it. A few ones end in a vowel, so there's a slight change to the ing form, and, like in any language, there are irregulars. When in doubt, you can always look it up on verbix.com.
The continuous present tense marks something that is happening right now. You can form it by using a form of be plus the ing form of the verb you're using. Note how there are 2 forms of every single verb. While I am talking is the official way to say it, if you are in a conversation, it will sound more natural to say I'm talking. Note how the yellow box says it's important that the actions are physical. For mental actions, you will almost always say I think instead of I am thinking. Having a tricky time telling when to use the simple present versus the continuous present? The simple present is used for repeated actions, general actions, and if statements. Continuous is used for limited time frames, something that is currently taking place, or, most commonly, the near future. What if you want to make a command and tell someone to do something? You should use the imperative mood. If you want to make a command, just use the verb without the subject pronoun. If you want to make a suggestion, you can say let's beforehand. Go home. Be nice. Let's go home. Let's be nice to them. If you want to express something has happened in the past a fixed number of times, you can use the simple past. Usually, to create this tense, just add ed to the end of the verb. However, there are a couple of irregulars to watch out for. Notice that for be, it's I was, you were, he was, we were, they were. You can use the past progressive to talk about something that was interrupted. To create this tense, use the simple past of be plus the ing form of the verb. I was going, he was watching. It can be a bit tricky to know which past tense to use. For the most part, you can use the simple past if it was done a certain number of times, once, twice, 50 times, never, or if there are multiple actions in a row, or if an action is interrupted by another action. You can use the past progressive if you want to emphasize a process, if there are two things that happen at the same time, or for an action that gets interrupted. You can tell if something is near future or regular future based on how soon it will happen. If it's in the next few days, you can use the phrase I'm going to plus the infinitive. If it's more distant than that, or if you're stating a fact, you can use the word I will plus the infinitive. Also, shall can express the future. Usually you would use it as I shall go. It's not often used with a lot of other verbs. If you want to focus on the process of something happening in the future, you can use the future progressive. Notice in these two sentences, the first one emphasizes the process of giving a speech, and the next one emphasizes the process of relaxing. Note that this tense isn't as common as the other future tenses. Want to express that something only happens as long as something else happens? You can use the word would plus the verb to express this. For example, if you want to be extra polite, you could say, I would like a cup of coffee, please, instead of I want a cup of coffee. And you can use it for if statements. If I were rich, I would buy a mansion. If you want to focus on the process of something happening conditionally, you can use conditional one progressive. This tense is not as common as regular conditional mood. You form this tense by using would be plus the ing form of the verb you're using. Congratulations! You made it to the end. Now you're a pro at English studies. If you have any questions or want me to elaborate any further on a certain topic, feel free to reach out to me at paristhepolyglot@gmail.com. Good luck with your English studies!